All right, so Model UN rules of procedure. How do you simulate the United Nations? So first, there are points. Points are what you say in the following case. Point of inquiry is a question about the rules. If you're not sure about the rules, you raise a point of inquiry. Brian, is that also true for courts?
No, no, this is strictly parliamentary.
Okay, great. Good to know. Point of personal privilege is if you can't hear someone or you need the room is too cold or something like that. Point of information is a question of the previous speaker. Only question previous speaker. It's only able to happen during the general speakers list. By the way, I'm going to be reviewing all of this when we actually do our simulation. This is just so we understand conceptually how it works. When I introduce Model U into new groups, I say there are five parts: roll call, opening statements, debate, resolutions, and voting. You can break them into smaller categories. The reason I do it like this is because I want to give the students a win, and roll call is fairly easy, and opening statements is basically reading your CIA speech. So you can get through the first part with them feeling good about themselves. Then when it gets to debate that's more rule specific, they already feel they've got through half. So this is a very much an educator's perspective of how I break it up. As you learn Model UN, you may choose to do it differently. Part one is roll call. It's the beginning of this. This is the Model UN flow of debate, and it goes all the way through. By the end of our next synchronous session, you will all understand all of this. But for now, I'm just going to quickly give an overview. Roll call is the beginning of every session. Everyone says present and voting. Pick their hand up, smile, and say present and voting. That's what I tell them to do. And that's it. You have done roll call. So if the students can say present and voting, which is five syllables, they've successfully passed the first thing because everyone says present and voting. That means 30 people said present and voting. Okay? That's great. That's a win. Okay? And you can, by the way, just do that in the beginning of class. I've seen teachers in English class to start the class, everyone says present and voting, and that's good. They feel good. They already said some English. It's not the usual thing you say. Next is opening statements. This is the CIA speech. This is the first speech given by everyone, and they're done in alphabetical order. So, whatever your country is, you know what order you're going to speak. You give your speech, everyone goes in order. This is where I recommend the participants use flowcharts. I'm saying again, I will be going over all this later. It's a document which is meant to write down the information, help us keep track. Without a flowchart, you will be lost. Okay, so everyone here has to use one when we do our simulation. Okay, just like for Ohad knows, you got to take notes during debate. You're not going to remember all of it. It's not possible. Okay, Ohad, what would happen in a debate if you did not take notes?
You'd be completely lost and your brain would explode by trying to have it all together.
Okay, well said. All right, like a debate is 1 hour of 7 minute speeches. Everyone's giving a 7 minute speech except for you. You have, no, everyone, including you, but you need to refer to the other one. So it's quite complex. Same idea here. You're going to hear people giving speeches just like the CIA speech that you heard. And without writing, it's very hard to follow and overwhelming. And I'd say it's so for grown-ups and all the more so for students who are new to this language. Take notes, help us stay focused. I recommend for beginners to make a flow chart like the following: country, clash, can we work together? Put it in Excel rubric, most space in the middle. Rula knows this is the format that we teach the students in their school, right, Rula?
Yes.
Exactly. Rula is well familiar with these types of formats. And when we talk about societies, she's going to have a whole bunch of things to say. Um, and you guys have a conference this week, right?
Hopefully, yes.
Hopefully, yes. Okay, good. Well, good luck. No, anyway, if you want to start a club in your school, Rula is an excellent wealth of information. Okay, here's an example of what it would look like. Peru, Laos, New Zealand, clash. Can we work together with good notes? You can see who you're going to work with by the end of the opening speeches. Okay, that's part number two. Part three is debate. All right, as an overview of debate, it moves between these things: the general speakers list, moderated, and unmoderated. And as I said, I'm going to go over all of this again. This is just for us to get the conceptual idea. General speakers list is countries talk about whatever they want. Okay, there's no limit to number of speeches. You finish speaking, you get back on the list, and you can talk again. Okay, there's no end as long as the list is running. You can yield time. Yield is to give over. Time can be given to other delegates or to the chair. If you have extra time, you can give it to the chair. Okay, this is basically the default. You will leave the general speakers list to different types of caucusing, which means discussion. But in general, you can talk about whatever you want, and you can give time to other people. This is the format usually seen when we see videos of the UN. Um, Motions are how you ask for something. This is a motion for a coffee break, motion for a moderated caucus. When you offer a motion, there are seconds and objections. A second is needed to pass something. And an objection means someone doesn't like the idea. Motions without seconds automatically fail. Motion without objections automatically pass. You need to have one of each, and then it's voted on by the entire committee. Okay, so that's motions, whatever they may be. If we right now, we're going to try voting in a few minutes when we're finished. We're going to motion to finish the class for tonight. There'll need to be seconds. If there's no objections, it'll pass. If there is an objection, we're all going to vote. I like it when everyone votes because then I make everybody vote. And if we don't get the math of the entire room, I make them do it again and again. Eventually, they'll push their friends and everyone votes. As a Model UN chair, as a judge of these rounds, I've done it in rooms of 100 people. And when I said vote, everybody voted because they knew Daniel would make them do it again if they didn't. So it's a great way to get engagement. And as the round proceeds, more and more voting happens. So their awareness to pick their hand up and support each other and be proactive grows. Okay, moderated caucus, a discussion on a specific topic. Okay, so I'll just put this over here so you know. Okay, so moderated caucus is a specific topic. They require a total time, individual time, and topic of discussion. For example, the United States motions for a moderated caucus of 5 minutes, 30-second speaker time on the topic of giving food to countries not developing nuclear weapons. Okay? So we can see here that we have the total time, 5 minutes, the individual time per speaker, and then the topic. So you have a format here where you can fill in the blank. Country motions for a moderated caucus of minutes, seconds on this topic. Okay, so it's basically, instead of us talking about anything, we pick something specific to talk about. Next, we have the unmoderated caucus. This is really the magic of Model UN, and once you get to Model UN, you're going to see why this is really the heart of what it is. It's independent lobbying time. All delegates get out of their seats, move around the room, and discuss whatever they want. This is where they build coalitions together. This is where they start writing their draft resolutions. And to motion for this, country motions for an unmoderated caucus of X minutes. Now you go back between the moderated and the unmoderated, and they all move between each other. And that's why we have this part where it's in a circle, where everything goes. You finish, you go back to speakers list, and you choose what you're going to do. When completed, now during this time, you write the resolutions or draft resolutions. This is working papers and voting. A working paper is the calls to action written down. And this is key. Model UN is not just speaking and reading, it's also writing. It's writing down our ideas that we're going to vote on at a later point. How do you work together? You combine your ideas with other people. And next time we're going to practice doing that, and you'll see that you're going to support your ideas together with others. It's called a draft resolution. Merging is when you combine your paper with other people's, because only one draft resolution can pass. And this is why you will have to work with others. Because why would I vote for anybody else? I want a pineapple pizza. Why should I vote for the person who wants the olives or the tuna? Because you need their vote. So half the pizza is pineapple and half is tuna, and now you're voting together. And now you have a chance to outvote the olives. So if someone wants Kenya to get the food and someone wants Turkey to get the food, maybe you split it and now you're working together. Maybe you'll say North Korea will get the food on the condition they won't test weapons for 6 months. And if not, the food will go to Turkey and Kenya. Now you have a coalition. Okay, so this is, and we'll be working on this more, but this is the type of thinking. It's not just about our idea. We need others to vote for us, and most are going to vote when they have an interest. Yes, MC, you have a question.
Yes. So I noticed in the Model UN that I took part of that there are some coalitions that were breaking down, and then the members would switch back and forth between different coalitions. depending upon what points were raised, or maybe someone gave a better offer, what would you do in that situation? It would almost turns into a never-ending cycle.
So I would say that in that thing, that's completely normal. People will leave and join coalitions all the time, and I would say that it is to be encouraged. Eventually, they will find their equilibrium, as in some people will either find the compromise or they will give up. But either way, it's going to move forward. It cannot be maintained. That like something will have to move forward. The most like people find a creative solution, like the most obstinate people get stuck, but coalitions must be made because for like Model UN is a cooperative, competitive activity. At the end, some group needs to get a majority. And the more they bring in, the better it is, and the more they have to work towards others and give credit. And it's a very complex activity. It's like it's one of those things which is like it's not so hard to learn. Like yes, the rules may seem technical. We're gonna get it by the end of this, but to master this is very much interpersonal strategy. And so people leaving the coalition because they're not happy. I've seen many times people have a few coalitions, a bunch of people don't feel heard, they leave. They find other people in other coalitions don't happen. They create a new coalition. Then their numbers are big enough for them to be relevant to the others. And then they come back to the table and now they have to negotiate as this group rather than the individual. So there are a lot of things that can happen. And we're going to go over all of it. Okay, did that answer the question?
Yes, thank you.
Excellent.
I have
Okay.
a question, please.
All right. Is it relevant for this
Merging
second or yeah.
okay.
Okay.
Can I?
So I'll do it.
Okay, merging is
Yeah.
like win-win policies. That's right. Merging.
Yeah. As you can work with anyone who doesn't say the opposite of what you say. If I say, for example, turn on the air conditioner, and Rula says that she wants to get a pizza, can I get a pizza and turn on the air conditioner?
Because I'm gonna get it, and you will get what you want. So
Ex
we
a
can
hundred.
vote for each other.
Exactly.
Okay.
And this is the model UN thinking. You can work with anyone who doesn't directly contradict you. But if I want to turn on the cold air and Anna wants to turn on the heat, now we can't work together because we want the opposite thing. So
Mm-hmm.
instead, the normal thinking of normal people pre-model UN is, well, I want the air conditioner and they want a pizza. We can't work together. But the answer is you can both get 100% of what you want and support each other. But who can't? The person who says, I can't eat wheat, the celiac, the lactose intolerant, the person who hates tomatoes and olive oil. Them we cannot work together. They want a hot dog, I want a pizza, and it's the same budget. Because otherwise we could say half a pizza, half a hot dog. It hurts, but we're still able to work. But if only one food can be ordered, like if we send all the food to North Korea, it's not going to Somalia. If we're splitting it, it's not going to, Canada or to Guatemala. So that's the type of thing.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Excellent questions. All right. There's a format to the resolution. I'm not going to get into it right now. Finally, voting. At the end of all this, we vote. Each resolution is presented. The first to get a majority passes. If they all fail, they all fail. Everyone says for or against, and then congratulations, the resolution is done. Okay? So this is the Model UN flow of debate, which we have done in record time. So we're going to go over all of this again in real time, step by step with more detail. But I want us to understand that first we talk, we give our opening speech, we have our debate, we write down our ideas, and we vote at the end, and we see how the progression works. All right? So first and foremost, I'd like to ask, are there any questions? Questions on any of this relevant to everyone? All right. So
I
seeing
actually have
none,
a question.
yes.
Sorry, I
Okay.
actually do
Let's
have a
hear.
question.
Yes.
Going back to the CIA statements.
Okay.
Um,
So wait. So this it's
uh,
not a question on this. It's on the previous part.
yes, sorry. It's
Okay.
been rolling
So
around in
fine.
my
So
mind for a little bit.
okay. So one second. So first
Um,
of all, so thank you all for following the rules of procedure discussion, and we're going to practice all of these things in the very near future.